afternoon granny square Sunday crochet along. I hope you have some granny squares. I certainly do. I'm sorry, this is a little, oh, there's my table with all the supplies. It is what it is. I'm going to pull this a little closer. Okay, so here's what I am working on today. If you are able to catch me and to go live with me, that would be fantastic. I hope to see you all. Okay, so what I'm working on, I am still working on this same red heart granny square, and the color is Black Silver Sea. You can see it's really good light today. So yeah, that's just a really pretty colorway. And it works up really, really pretty. I'm enjoying this color quite a bit, which is good because I have decided to basically follow this pattern on the front and make a vest with these. So I counted it out and I believe I need 24 granny squares to be able to make the vest. So let's see how many we have. I probably should have done this ahead of time, but here we go. So maybe I'll point this down a little more so you can see my counting. Sorry that there's the messy side table, but here we go. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, so that's how I had this before, was 10. And is this also 10? We shall see. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. So I'll put that over there. So we have 1, which means I need 3 more. Okay, awesome. Let's go ahead and get started. This is all that's left on the last skein that I did, which means I believe I have 2, like this one and a half left to do. And then I plan to do as much of a continuous join with this color of Big Twist, which is blue denim. It's really a lovely color. And as you see, they're not an exact match. It's a little bit lighter, or a little bit in between the light and the dark blue. It's kind of a little more heathered, but I think it will look really, really good as the joining color. And I'm a big denim look fan anyway. So that is my plan for joining them. And I've been thinking through the continuous join. I have a whiteboard that I was trying to see, oh, if I started here and went around, how could I do it without lifting my, without having to cut and start again. I may not succeed, but if I do, I will let you all know what the pattern is. And I assume there may be some frogging involved. I've done continuous join exclusively for blankets. I've never tried it for apparel, and I absolutely love it for blankets because they are just, you know, so tedious to sew because it's just so long. Whoop, there goes my yarn. That I really appreciate continuous join for a blanket, but that's pretty easy geometrically. Like you just go up and down each, and I've shown that before, my approach to that with the pattern. You know, you go up each one and then down and then, anyway, I've shown that before. But for this, I've been trying to think through, like, where should I start? There's a couple of tricky spaces. It's not flat, it's 3-dimensional in the round. So we'll see. I anticipate frogging, but that's okay. That's why we crochet, because it's easy to frog and easy to figure it out. And even if I have to have a couple of extra ends to weave in, that's okay too. It's not the end of the world. I keep telling myself this. So if you're wondering who I'm talking to, it's me. I'm the one who needs to be reminded that it's okay to have to weave in a few extra ends. That's probably my least favorite part of this hobby, but you know, everything has its trade-offs. You want to eat fancy foods, you have to wash lots of dishes, you want to, all the things, right? There's always trade-offs, and I feel like the trade-off is pretty acceptable with crochet. Like, I can handle weaving in a few ends, no problem. Okay, I'm really enjoying the fact that I don't have to trade, that I'm only going to have one end to weave in per square. So that's a total of 24 ends. Not bad, not bad at all. But I am having to use a smaller hook than it recommends. Like I think it recommends a 5.5. Yeah, it does. It recommends a 5.5 on here. And I am using a 5. And this is the Clover Amour. I don't know if you can actually see that. Yeah, there we go. So it's the Clover Amour. It's a very smooth, tapered head. For those following along at home, there's two different types, basic types of crochet hooks. There's the tapered head, and then there's the inline. And the inline is a little bit grippier on the sides. And there are certain yarns and projects where that makes more sense. However, I prefer the tapered. Yeah, so I just prefer a straight tapered. And this Clover Amour one is a really good, very smooth, it's almost as smooth as my very favorite, which is the Tulip. Yeah, I don't have that fancy tool that Elise from Elise Rose Crochets. Her husband has some sort of fancy tool where he can measure the roughness, or contrawise, the smoothness of crochet hooks. And so he was actually able to do that on a bunch of different hooks that she purchased to see what was like the deciding factor, and she tested out a bunch of them. I really enjoyed those videos. I think she did 2 of them like that, where she went through a bunch of different hooks. So these Clover Amours are my second favorite. First favorite are Tulips. And if I remember to, I will put affiliate links for both of those in the description or the chat below. Yeah, they're pretty easy to get. I got this set on Amazon. I don't have it here, but I bought the whole set that has all the different sizes of the Clover Amour, and I feel like it was about $40 when I purchased it, which for a crochet hook, like I'm looking at you, Furls, that's pretty expensive. But for a full set of a good quality one, that's not too terrible, especially since I have yet to break one. I did break or wear out, which I never thought that was possible, but I wore out one of the cheapy Amazon ones. That was a shame. It was plastic, and do I have one over here? Yes, I do. I can show you. So the crochet hook that I actually ended up wearing out was one just like this. Was not this one, obviously, but this grippy, what is this? Kind of a silicone cover. It's actually really quite comfortable to hold. I wish these were a little fancier, like they aren't quite as smooth on the metal as the Tulip or the Clover, but I really like the longer hook for where it sits as you're holding it. You don't have any pressure in the same way you do with this, where it's inside my hand, and I just prefer the longer one. So personal preference, and I had this, and it was a red silicone, and the silicone, I used it so much that it started to shred over time and eventually just like fell off, which is crazy. I mean, you can see this isn't the best made. You can see where there's little rough spots in the silicone and where it could start to come off right here and right here. But price-wise, I bought a whole set of these for about $10 on Amazon, and where this whole set was about $40. So I still feel like this was a pretty good deal for what I got. It's okay. We may have a moment of silence or noisiness in my background. I have my tech editor, aka my teenager, is making some food, but I tried to minimize that by adding in a microphone today. Normally I just talk directly to the camera, and I'm not so far away that I don't think it matters. But this time I was like, okay, We know she's going to be out and about doing things. Why don't I try the microphone? And if I put the little fuzzy thing on here, see if that works. So those of you who have YouTube channels, I'm curious what your experience has been with microphones so far. My style of video, which is more or less talking head videos and crochet lives, which is still talking head videos, I sit close enough to the camera for the most part that I don't feel like this microphone has been a game changer. I did have one video that I did that the volume was pretty low, and which is what prompted me to purchase this. This is the DJI, what set is this? It's a really cute little set in case you are a fellow YouTuber and you want to try this out. So it comes in this handy box, or this handy bag, which it also comes with covers for, well, there goes one, for the microphones that just clip onto the microphones themselves. And then this little handy box is a charger. So you just put, this is the microphone piece. It's the 2-piece set in case I ever have a friend who wants to crochet with me on a live or for an interview or whatever. I have ideas for the future that involve me talking to other people, and then the actual receiver that plugs right into the bottom of my phone is right here, and then the other microphone sits here. And when I close this up, you can see it charges it. So I open it, you can see the green light, meaning it's fully charged and ready to go. Like, this is pretty awesome. And then I just plug this box in every now and again to charge it. And so, and it all sits in here with the other little accessories, like the little microphone pom-poms that are wind blockers, basically. And I thought that might be useful for today's, since I have a kiddo who is doing her own thing. So I decided to clip it to my necklace. I don't know if that was a good choice or not. Anyway, if you are a fellow YouTuber, and I know several of you are, I think I got this for about, was it 70 or 80? Somewhere in there. It wasn't super expensive. I wasn't looking for top of the line. I'm just looking for really functional, well thought out, and well reviewed. And this one was extremely well reviewed. And I don't want to purchase one again for a real long time. I mean, I would like to say ever, but they don't make forever things very often anymore, especially with electronics. And another key factor for me was I did not want to have to download an app or have any sort of interfacing. And to my knowledge, I mean, I've used this several times in videos and I've never needed that. So I believe I'm good. My kiddo is still using the blender. She is making cookies. I'm excited. We haven't made cookies at my house for a long time, and it feels like a cookie day. Sundays always feel like a fun day to do baking, but we also have a lot going on Sundays. I don't know about you guys. I'm a full-time working lady, so Sundays afternoons after a certain point, it's just like, okay, we got to get all the things ready for the week. And she goes to school full-time. I work full-time. You know, we're just busy. So it's nice that she's making cookies. We'll be able to put those in our lunches all week. I'm very excited for that. Okay, this is a little too heavy for sitting upward, apparently, on my neck. Okay, it's just going to be like that. All right, I've got a lot here. So I believe it was Paige who told me the trick of just single crocheting or slip stitching across here to get to the other corner. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that on this. I've had to do that periodically on a lot of these squares, and it has made things square up a lot better than they used to be. So pretty happy with that little tip. If that helps you on these, I recommend sizing down if you need to the slightly smaller hook that allows you to do that. That allows you to have more yarn than less, and then being able to just single crochet across so that you get, for the most part, the crochet corner is just exactly as it should be. Okay, so my friends on the East Coast, I hope you are dug out from your snows. I believe the North Carolina region just got hammered, and Virginia, I think you guys got hammered again. Did that go all the way up the East Coast? I'm not sure, but we have a bright sunny day today. and I believe we're above freezing, maybe even 40 degrees. It was cold this morning. We went to church early and it was cold, but when we got out, it was not as bad. So I feel like it's warming up. Okay, kind of played a bit of yarn chicken and didn't quite make it. You can see here, I had to use a couple stitches on the black, which I don't love. Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully I've got enough to carry on. Okay, kind of after this one, well, I only have one more, but I do want to try starting with the continuous join, because like I said, I feel like I'm going to have to do a couple of pulling things out and starting frogging and going again. But so my thought is that I looked at it a couple of different ways. I looked at it if I were to lay everything out as if the shirt was across me and then just had one seam on the side. And then I also laid it out just on the whiteboard as if it was just a long continuous like apron style that you put your head in the middle and then you had two seams on the sides. And I'm not sure which way will work better for the continuous join, but I'm gonna try it with the apron style and see if that one works, because that seemed to make the most sense. It's hard to visualize, like for me anyway, at least with the three-dimensional part. So we shall see. Okay, is anyone else out there doing granny squares today for Granny Square Sunday? I would love to hear what y'all are working on. And if you are digging out from the snow that's been hitting us, or maybe you never got snow, maybe you're on the West Coast and you never had snow. I have a couple of friends in Utah and they are wondering where their snow went, and they have not gotten hardly any snow. In fact, they are worried that they're going to have drought conditions over the summer because they have gotten so little snow. So I would love to hear where everyone is. If you want to hop in the chat and say hello of where you're from. And if not, that's okay. I can keep chatting as I'm going. This is my last round for this granny square. And then even though I'm a couple squares short, I think I'm going to start on the continuous join just to see how it goes. Normally I like to weave in all my ends at this point, but weaving in ends is not that fun. So I don't think I'm going to do that on camera because that's just kind of boring. So I will skip that, do that when I am watching a movie. I rented from the library, or I guess borrowed from the library, but I'm a Gen X kid, so I'm used to saying rented videos. Anyway, I rented from the library The Proposal with Sandra Bullock and what's his name? The guy who's married to Blake Lively. Right? I can't remember. Anyway, it's super cute. I had never seen it before, and my algorithm kept showing me little clips from it on YouTube Shorts, and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna have to go to the library and rent this bad boy. I don't think that's what the algorithm was trying to sell me. I think usually they want you to purchase something after you've been influenced, but in my case, it sent me to the library, and I've rented it. And I'm very excited to watch that. I've watched it once already, and I want my kiddo to watch it with me. She's not as excited. It's an old 2009 movie, so not super old, and really funny and beautiful scenery in the background. It's set in Alaska, and we are talking about going to Alaska this summer, which would be really fun. So that kind of made me excited for going there. All kinds of good stuff. Uh-oh. My dog is maybe getting sick. Oh. Rosie, go upstairs. Go upstairs, sweetie. Meredith. Rosie, go upstairs, honey. Go on. Go upstairs. Meredith will let you out. Rosie, go on. Oh. Well, hopefully my microphone is making sure you all don't pick that up. But she isn't actually throwing up. She's just kind of dry heaving. Yuck. Sorry, I have a friend, a dear friend, who the mention of stomach troubles, I will say generically, gives her stomach problems. And so even though I know that's not really the purpose of trigger warning, we always, when we use Marco Polo a lot, which is a really fun app, whenever we are telling a story about those sorts of things, we will say trigger warning to let her know that we're about to talk about something kind of gross so she can skip it. And another person on that same thread is gets really faint at the talk of blood. So if you have a story that involves, you know, going to the doctor and getting pricked or anything like that, she's another one you have to give a different type of trigger warning to. So I know that that is usually referred to for emotional things, but we end up using them for physical things quite often. Okay, look at this beautiful square. There's a little bit of green that crept into there. That's okay. But for the most part, this one looks really good. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started on the continuous join. So I'm pulling out my big twist denim for those following along here at home. And I'm going to use the exact same size crochet hook because I don't want to change the tension on it between this and it turns out looking like it's the next row. So I'm going to just use the same crochet hook and see where we go. I may end up doing, I assume I will end up doing either a double crochet around the neck area and the arms and the bottom, or a single crochet to finish it off. I don't know if they did that on this. I could read this pattern, but what fun would that be? What fun would that be? Okay, so I think I've mentioned before, but I always, when I'm starting anything, I tend to start with a knot, with a slip stitch. And the reason that I do that is I have actually had my stuff come undone, and it's really frustrating to try to solve that when a little bit of a knot could have fixed it. And this vest is for me, and I don't mind if there's an extra knot in there. In fact, I would prefer it so that I don't have to worry if I get a little bit crazy and move a lot in it. So I think this vest would actually go really well over, I have a black shirt under this black vest or this black sweater. So I think it would go great over the black shirt. So hopefully by next week, my next Sunday Granny crochet along, I will be wearing the vest. We shall see. Okay, so to start the continuous join, you do it just like you would a normal granny stitch, as if you're adding to the row. So I just did my 3 chains that equal my 1 double crochet, and then going ahead and doing my 2 other double crochets in the corner. And let me look at my plan here. So my plan is to start right here, which is at the armpit. So I'm going to start here and go up and then around the next one. So I'm basically doing 2 sides of this square before I join in the second square. I hope that makes sense, but hopefully it'll make sense as I go. Oop, I don't want to pull that one in. So here we go. And I'm hoping this does not make it too wide. Okay. True confession, I did not measure how wide this would be, and because I'm not actually looking at the pattern and just kind of going for it, I'm not sure how it's all going to work out. But that's okay. That's what frogging is for. Live a little. At least that's how I'm approaching this. And oh, this is turning out beautifully. I am loving this color on here. Look at that so far. It just goes really, really lovely. Like you can tell it's just a little darker than this one, but not quite as dark as that. Perfect. I am happy with this. Okay, here we go. And I need to do my corner just normal here. My one end that I will have to weave in. Isn't that glorious? These Red Heart all-in-ones. I have become a fan of them. Has anyone else made an actual blanket or anything else with them? I forgot that. So when I was at Joann's back in the day, I don't need to stop to talk. Sometimes I do. I feel like I need a prop. But when I was at Joann's back in the day, this specific colorway, they had a whole bunch of them. And I may have underestimated or overestimated the amount that I needed to make a blanket. So I purchased, I mean, I probably have 5 or 6 skeins of that. So doing the vest is super, but then I also was like, you know what, I just really like those colors mixed together. Maybe I can try something else with the yarn that isn't granny square related. And so I started, but have not finished because I wanted to start it and see how it went. But I started to do a hexagon granny square cardigan. I don't know if you guys have seen those. They're the sweater that you do 6 sides and then you fold it and you go across the top for the sleeves and then you stitch the 2 sides together and it makes a cardigan. Anyway, doing that from this has actually, it's starting to look really nice. I should have brought it down here, but it is looking really nice. And I think it's because the thing that I really liked about this is the ratios of the colors. There's more black than anything else, but there's a lot of blues. The 2 blues in there are really nice. And then the little pops of green. It actually has turned into like, it just, I will definitely be showing that in a future video because it just turned out surprisingly nice. Okay, so we are almost done with the second side. Maybe almost done was a little more generous than I ought to have been because we aren't that far along, but we are going along. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. I feel like this is going to take some brain power to be able to do, to be able to figure this out on the fly. I did, like I showed you, drew it all out, but I have not actually ever done a 3D one. And so I feel like I may have missed some critical risks, for lack of a better term, of what might actually happen here. Okay, so I am 2 sides in and I need to do another one. I'll grab this one for that. And I need to do all 4 sides on this. Okay, cool. So, but I'm going back down this side. Right? How am I doing this? Yeah, I think I am. Okay, here we go. So go ahead and join. So I always just join with a slip stitch, or do I do single crochet? Well, now we're doing slip stitch. Okay, and I'll go ahead and chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then double crochet, and back to back I'm doing the join on this. 2, 2, 2, and slip stitch to have them go together. And oh, you know what? Silly me. I did not need to join with a double, with a thing. I did not feel like that was right. Okay, I pulled that out. So here I have, I'm gonna try to demonstrate this. So here I have my 2 sides that I needed to do, and my next side is gonna go along here as a join. Okay, so in order to achieve that, I'm gonna go ahead and join this with a single crochet chain, or I'm sorry, just a chain 1, and then in this corner, if you're looking at it, these are facing me, then I'm just going to go ahead and do my double crochet right into that corner and carry on. And 2. So this is twisted a little bit in the air, but I'm going to take my crochet thing out so you can see. Okay, so if you're looking at it, it's like I just kept going, but I put a chain 1 in there. Now, when I go to my next crochet, what I'm doing is I'm joining these. So this right here, I need another hand for this demo. This stitch right here, I'm going to join with a slip stitch into this space. And then I'm going to keep going all the way to here and then around this. So that is what we're doing here. Okay. My drawing is probably only clear to me, but that's okay because I'm the only one it has to make sense to at this point. If I figure it out, I will share it, but if it just ends up being a big old mess, I won't share it because ain't nobody need to see all that. And the easier way would just be to sew this, right? And if I were a normal person, I would probably do that. But for some reason, I feel fairly averse to pulling out a needle when I'm crocheting. Like it's the least fun part of crochet is weaving in ends or sewing things together, at least in my mind. And because of that, I'm always going to go for maybe a continuous join approach instead of just a sew them together approach. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we can get this next one going. And we only have 2 more clusters to go. 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, and a 3rd double crochet. And on the corners, I tend to like to do a single chain and then a slip stitch and then another chain. And I know that's an extra stitch technically for the corner, but that's just how I like to do it. Okay, so you can see how this is coming along now, where it's actually joined those 2 squares so far. So, ooh, I am really, really loving the way this is looking with that lighter blue on there. And I hope you can actually hear me because I thought my kiddo would be done with the cookies faster, but this is a slow process when you are making fancy cookies. So, okay, now I'm going to keep going down this row and whoop, this is where it goes kind of fast. Then I'm going to read my drawing and hope it makes sense, but some of it doesn't. Like it isn't, it's almost like I'm doing a mirror image of the drawing, which is fine. I can interpret, but I'm hesitant to put it out on the interwebs when it's basically not even fully clear to me, if that makes sense. Hopefully it will be clear to others as they want to try. And I hope other people want it. I hope that I can figure this out because this would be really awesome to just know how to do a vest as a continuous join, right? Like who wouldn't want that? There's so many granny square options out there that like, this is infinitely customizable and sizable. Oh, that was the other part of this that I am playing a bit of yarn chicken with. I gently held the squares up to myself and said, oh, these are more or less gonna cover me. So I hope they do. Okay, I'm rounding the corner because this one's telling me that I go all the way around this specific one. Here's hoping this is how it's supposed to be. Okay, so round in the corner. Oh, I really like this blue as the next row for this granny. Look at how nice that's turning out. I think it's going to make such a lovely vest. Oh my gosh. Here. So if you have made something with these red heart granny square all-in-ones, I would love to hear about it. I haven't seen comments, but I have had my eyes down, so I apologize if you have made comments and I just haven't seen them yet. I do love when these chats are a lot more interactive because I feel like I'm as entertaining as the next person, but we can all get a little boring if we're just blabbering on for too long. But I would like to make a little progress and see how this is going. Oh my goodness. Happy days. Okay, what else should we talk about granny square wise? I have another colorway of this. LOL, I forgot I was watching live. Thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting, Lana. Or was it, I'm sorry. I don't read very fast, apparently. But thank you for commenting. And I do the same thing. Like I'll watch lives after they've started, and then I get caught up to people because I usually watch people on 1.5 speed, sometimes 2 speed. Some people talk pretty fast naturally, and so yeah, those are the people I can't watch on 2 speed. But anyway, you're concentrating and I'm listening to you, and I watched you figure out your side thing. Oh yes, I am. I am very much concentrating, trying to figure this out because, whew, okay. So I'm coming up to this tricky part, and I'm going to show you on here. So I started here and I did this, and now I'm going around here and I'm on the 4th side. Now on this one, I'm adding one, well, I'm going to finish this 3rd side of the 1st square. Yes, they sound like Mickey Mouse. Yes, they do when you go double speed. But then I will be adding a new square right here. So I'm hoping that this all works out the way it is supposed to. Okay, but all we can do is try. All we can do is try. Alrighty. And unfortunately, does anyone else lose their scissors all the time? I have several pairs of super cute scissors. These are not those super cute scissors. These are like kid scissors that they sell every year at the back to school sales. My kids aren't little anymore, so they don't need those little ones, but those are usually pretty inexpensive, like $1 a piece. And they're Fiskars, so they're pretty good. You're doing great, thank you. So I end up purchasing 1 or 2 pairs of those every year, but I also purchase the cute scissors, the like little crochet ones that fit into your little tins. Does anyone else have a little crochet tin that they love? I'm gonna show you guys this. I bought it in the UK. It's Emma Ball. Janie Crow is the designer of this specific granny square quilt. And I have 10 pairs, so I can have 1 in every project room and 3 in my living room. You were brought up right, girl. Anyway, my scissors, my cute scissors fit into here. And I take them out and use them and then lose them. I need to adopt the 10 pair approach. This is one of my dream projects that I really want to make at some point. Janie Crow is just an amazing designer. That's her name. She's British. So I went on a bit of a walk in Scotland. I'm going to use my funny accents. So I went on a bit of a walk in Scotland. I went and walked the West Highland Way. And before I started, I know, isn't her stuff just amazing? So before I started, it was a 100-mile walk that I was doing in like 7 days. It was absolutely crazy. I had some angst, some emotional energy to burn. And so I bought myself a ticket to Scotland and decided to do this walk. The night before the walk, I was staying in Glasgow, which is right where it starts. Like I walked from Glasgow to, what's that other city that I ended in? It's gone. Anyway, walked that whole 100 miles to the next city over 7 days. But the night before, there was a little yarn shop in Glasgow, and it was having a stitch night where you could come and sit and stitch with a bunch of local ladies, and apparently they sell cake and you get tea, and it cost £5 to participate. I did not know this at the time, but I would have been happy to participate for £5. I mean, I did, but I had no idea going in. And so I get there and I just sit down with all of them, and a couple of them had done the walk, so they were telling me all about it, and just sat there crocheting with some lovely British ladies, and it was so fun. And the shop had these beautiful things to display, like on their display as accessories, and I was so excited because I've wanted to order a couple of these Emma Ball tins for a while, but I didn't want to pay like $30 shipping on a, $7 tin. That's silly. So I never got myself to do it. And then they had it at the shop and I was so excited. So that is one of my souvenirs from my walk in Scotland. Okay, I am coming to the bottom of this, and I think the next one is to go up. So I'm gonna try that. Let's see, one more double crochet here and grab a square. Okay, now going to just keep swimming, just keep swimming. Okay, so this is gonna go across like that, so I probably want to start it right here. Okay, here we go. So I'm gonna do, again, now that I'm adding a new one in, I'm gonna chain one, and then I'm gonna just double crochet into that corner to start my cluster. So 1, 2, 1, 2, and the third one, 1, 2. And then I'm going to turn it. Make sure I didn't twist them, and crochet back up this side. I'm hoping that's what that's telling me to do, because that's what I'm doing. So hope I got this right. If not, we'll be frogging. Every day I'm shuffling. Okay. Ooh, it's looking nice. Oh, looks like Rosie is feeling better. She's running around down here. 1, 2, and 3. Awesome. Okay, I will hold this up and show you where I am once I get this next one joined, because it is a bit of a doozy. But the part that I believe that I'm on, it's part of the process, frogging. It sure is. Like, one of the things that my grandmothers were a little bit harsh in their teaching approach. I do not employ the same teaching approach. I give people the option of frogging if they want to, but they would see a mistake and they would just frog it, and it frustrated me because I'd worked so hard on that. And now I like the colors you chose. Oh, thank you. I mean, I let the yarn do the work. This red heart all-in-one is black silver sea is the color, and then the other yarn that I'm using to join is this big twist in the colorway denim blue. This one, I don't know if it's still available, because as we all know, poor Joanne's, rest in peace, got eaten up by the venture capitalists. It's okay. I'm not bitter. Okay, I am a little bitter, honestly. I'm like, can we not have venture capitalists that are into crafts? Like, can they not understand what this business means for some of us? Apparently they don't, and they didn't appreciate what a resource. Honestly, I don't think I truly appreciated. Whoa, Rosie, you're, oh, okay. Here, sweetie. Oh, there we go. Okay. I don't know if you can see her. She's right here with this little pink sweater on. I'm bitter. Me too. But I don't think that and I don't think I truly appreciated. I was like, it's either you go to Joann's or Michael's, but I didn't realize how much more I went to Joann's than Michael's, because Michael's really doesn't have the same level of yarn. It just doesn't. Okay, so I'm to this corner part, and whenever I get to a corner join, because I don't want it to like pull on it too much, I add in an extra chain one, and then I'm gonna go ahead and join into the space between the two corners. Nope, it doesn't. I think you're agreeing with me on the Michaels thing, Lana, because yeah, they are just not as good. They're not as nice. Has anyone seen Dairy Girls? It is one of my very favorite inappropriate shows, so I should probably caveat it with it is. I have a bit of a dark sense of humor, and Derry Girls is a little bit of a dark sense of humor. It's about Derry is Derry, and it's about a town in Ireland, sometimes known as Londonderry and sometimes known as Derry. Same town, just depends on whether you're from Northern Ireland or the Republic of Ireland. And it's basically a show about these girls in the 90s growing up there during the Irish Troubles. And they did all kinds of stupid teenager things, which is why it's so funny. But in the backdrop of these big troubles happening in their town. And one of the girls, when the whole all the families get kicked out of the fish and chip shop that they all went to on Friday nights, like how we do Pizza Friday, they did fish and chips Friday, and they always ordered stuff, and they all got kicked, their families got kicked out of, they're not allowed to order from there after they set fire to the ladies' curtains. I mean, it's a whole thing. But one of the girls said that pizza is not as nice, and I feel like that about Michael's. Like, it's just not as nice. It's okay, it's just not quite as nice. That was a long story to say it's not as nice. Okay, here we go. I think I am actually following along with my intention here. So if I've got this right, this will be the front. Wow, that's a little higher up on the neck than I expected, honestly. I kind of thought that it would be a little bit further apart. We'll see how it goes. So I'm going to be adding on this next side, and hopefully it goes okay. Okay, so I have to do this one. I'm going to show you where I am in case any of you were actually able to follow along with. So I started here, and I went up and then over, and then up and over all four, then down this one side, and now I'm here. And so I'm going to finish that third side, and then I'm going to go up a new one and do two sides there, then do all four sides, and then keep going down. And then I'm going to go over. So hopefully that works. That's, I mean, I sat and drew out this chart. I probably spent 30 minutes trying to figure it out, and we'll see. Hopefully I'm not frogging. Anyway, oh, can we talk about favorite shows again? One of my all-time favorites, Catherine O'Hara, I'm probably saying it the wrong way. Rest in peace. She was so delightful, and she definitely such a comedic genius. I loved her, and recently, I guess not so recently now, it's been a number of years, but Schitt's Creek was one of my very favorite shows. If you've seen it, then you probably have a similar sense of humor. That one was so good, but she just did so many over the years. Obviously, she, I think, is most famous for being Kevin's mom in Home Alone, but that was, in my opinion, a minor role in comparison to, like, obviously Schitt's Creek, but then she did like Best in Show, A Mighty Wind, all of those Chris Guest movies that were so, so funny. Yeah, she's just a comedic genius on all of those. Okay, we are almost to the bottom of our third side, and then I'm going to join one more. Here we go. This is getting exciting. I can't believe that we are working this vest like this. Like, here we go. Got to come up with a new tagline, because I've said here we go way too many times now. All right, I'll try this one. No, I'm going to try this one. All right. So I did a chain one because I'm about to join a new square, and I do it in case you do a continuous join and have some questions. I always do it with the right sides facing up, and then when I'm able to turn, it just turns nicely. So that's an easy way for me. I don't like to flip my granny squares as I go. I know some people love that look. That's not my preferred look. And I think both ways turn out really nice. So, you know, it's just a personal preference. Is anyone out there a granny square flipper, or are you guys on the same side, same team I'm on, where we keep going on one side only until we have to do otherwise? Just curious. Okay, here we go. Joined. I feel like that little joined spot is always the trickiest, just because you got to make sure you don't miss it. And then after that, it's just keep on rolling, right? Roll on highway. Ooh, I shouldn't sing because I don't know what is and isn't copyrighted on YouTube. I'm a fairly new YouTuber, as many of you may know. So I don't want to have any problems with that, so I've just avoided adding music or singing or anything. I'm a flipper, but it doesn't matter. I could not flip too. Yeah, there's a couple of patterns that have you flip back and forth that I've seen, and I love those patterns, and I'm really wanting to try them. So that might be the next thing for me going forward, is the half grannies, where they are the triangles. I don't know if you guys have seen them, but it's like they flip the color right in the middle. So it creates two triangles for the granny. And that is done with flipping in the corner. And I really love that look. I'm trying to not start so many projects and trying to be more of a project finisher. Which is why I decided to go ahead and keep working on this. Anyway, we shall, but that is one of the projects that I'm really looking forward to. Okay, so I need to join this here, and then where do I go from here? Okay, I need to do two sides on this bad boy. Okay, easy peasy. So again, I always do an extra chain in the corner just so it doesn't get too tight, and then I slip stitch between all of my squares. I've seen some people use a single crochet in their joining, and it looks really good. It just depends on your tension, and you know, what works for some people doesn't work for others. I used to do 2 stitches to represent double crochet, and now I often do 3. Although sometimes if I'm crocheting a little more loosey-goosey for whatever reason that day, I will go ahead and go back to my 2 stitches instead of 3. So, you know, different strokes, different folks, different times, right? My mom used to always say different strokes for different folks. And I really like that phrase, because it just means it's a very live and let live approach to life. And I appreciate that. Okay, we are almost to the end of this corner and adding in the next one. So by the time I finish this, these few rows together, it will have been, or it will be, yeah, this is the front. Oh, I actually think this might be the right size in the end. I mean, we do have a square that goes under, or a couple of squares that go under the armpits to give it a little bit of width, and then it's the same size on the back. So I think that'll work. So exciting. Okay, now I need to add one more square. Grab one of these. Okay, and I'm adding a new square, so I'm going to go ahead and chain 1 and then add on. I realize this is barely in frame, but if I move it down much, my head is kind of cut off. Maybe I'll try that anyway. Giving my teenager a look. She set an Alexa timer instead of just a stove or phone timer when she knows I'm doing this. Okay, so go ahead and match this one up. Yep. Just making sure on my little drawing here. And then off we go. We're off to the races again. And I'm going to do all 4 sides of this, which is kind of rare on a continuous join. If you've ever continuous joined, you will know it is rare to do all 4 sides of something, but these are the corners or the shoulders. So when I'm adding in the back, I will be crocheting into that, to the 4th row, this part of it. So we'll see. Like I said, it was a lot of figuring, and I'm not 100% sure I got the figuring right. I have a kiddo who just gave me a look. Hopefully that means the cookies are looking good. Are they looking good? Oh, she's giving me a maybe not look. That's a bummer. Oh, this is why it's dangerous to do this on a live, because I got unfocused and I stopped attaching. So frogging we go. A frogging we go. All right, here we go. That's okay. Only a couple clusters. Nothing. Darn it. I know. It happens. It happens. I got distracted by talking and by my cute tech editor. She is just a cutie. What can you do? Oh, I'm not supposed to say cute because she's a teenager, so she just gave me a look. If you have teenagers, you know the look. All right. One here, and that last bit on this next one, and then all the way around and down. I cannot believe we've almost got this front part done. Okay, so I just came to the corner cluster, so I'm going to go ahead and do an extra chain, and then slip stitch, and then chain 1, and then I'm going to carry on my wayward son on this specific square, correct? Yes, okay. All right. I have stopped writing everything down on paper as much as possible, and I use these little whiteboards, as you've seen. And part of the reason is most of the notes that I take in life do not need to be saved forever. And if I really feel like I want to save it, I'll take a picture of it and probably be able to find it easier than little scraps of paper, which I find all over, and I'm like, what is this from? And then I will look deeper and I'll be like, oh, that's the pattern I was starting a year ago. And anyway, so my hope is that by just writing it down on something a little less permanent, it helps me to get actually moving along in my brain, you know, like actually trying out this approach first, or just not needing it. Like most of the things I write down do not need to be saved for posterity's sake. A whiteboard is perfectly sufficient. Most of my to-do lists, there's satisfaction in checking them off, but they don't need to last forever. We are also trying to declutter our house, and I am trying to declutter my yarn stash, which is why and by declutter I mean use up, because I don't want to get rid of any of my yarn. I love it all. Even the stuff I don't truly love, I kind of love. You know, like, what's an example? There was one so this is my scrap blanket. Oh, here's an example. This camo color in here, you can see it. It actually looks pretty nice with this, I think. So you see that little camo square right there? That's a yarn that I have not known what to do with. So I did a Christmas tree stem, and it called for 3 different colors of green to be marled together, and I thought that camo would be a perfect one for the Christmas tree stem, and so I used that as one of my colors, and it turned out great. But then I have a whole ball of camo yarn, and I love the camo baby yarn for baby blankets, but generally I don't know what to make with camo yarn. So I put it in that blanket, and then suddenly I really liked it. Like, I really like how that colorway turned out there. It just kind of breaks it up in a different way. So I feel like for me, I like almost all yarns. I just need to find the appropriate place for them. And once I find that, then voila, they're great. This is one of my very favorite Stash Buster, this blanket. It's just a granny square, nothing fancy. Join as you go, random colors. I try to, whenever I do random colors like this, I always try to go for high contrast or what hasn't been in that area of the blanket for a while. So that's always my approach, and I feel like it comes out pretty well balanced in the end. Always looking for the highest contrast and what has not been in that area of the blanket color-wise. So I'm hoping that I can keep going on this bad boy, and as I'm destashing, be able to use it up and finish this, because this is just a pretty one, and I like the bright, colorful blankets. Okay, so my plan here is to just go down this whole side, zoop, and then I will be going, there's not a square right here. So if you're looking at this as part of the vest, these are the shoulder squares, and then this is the armhole square, and so it'll have a space here. We'll see. That's where my continuous join gets a little wonky, because you don't normally go to the next row to add in a square like that, but I didn't know how else to do it, so I just did. And that kind of breaks the rules. Maybe it will all work out, but maybe not. We shall see. It may be continuous join on this part, and then it sounds dicey, doesn't it? And then a continuous join for the front and a continuous join for the back, and then we have to sew them together. That would be a bummer, but you know. Okay. We're getting to the dicey area. As Lana put it, that was a good way to say that. It's getting dicey. But it should be a lot of, I mean, the fun thing is I get to keep testing it to see if it's a right fit for me. And if it's not the right fit for me, this will be the right fit for one of my kiddos. And they'll probably be real happy to have it. I bet they would both, I bet whichever of them I make it ends up getting it, the other will be like, what? You made that for her, but not for me. What can you do? What can you do? Okay. What is everyone working on out there for their granny square? Is anyone else working on a granny square this Sunday, or is it just me? Could be just me. Hold on. Are you headed? Is there stuff in the oven? No? Are you done? Did they turn out okay? Can I test one? My daughter asked me to stop making her stuff for a while. That is not what my daughters have said. But I think it's because I mostly make things for myself. I used to make them more things when they were younger, or at least I felt like I did, but they either A, grew out of it, or they didn't really love it. And that was partially my fault for just assuming what they would like and making it, like thinking something was super cute and being like, oh, this would look adorable on my girls. And so I'd make it for them, and then they would be like, this isn't my style, or whatever, you know, which is totally reasonable. But as a maker, like, you don't want to spend all that time making something and then not have somebody wear it. So I just gave up on making stuff for them for a while, because I was just like, yeah, if they don't want it, I want it. So it has worked out for me. Ooh, I just got delivered a cookie. They look pretty good. Hopefully they taste pretty good. I'm getting a look like they may not taste very good. That is good. Well, I did not mean this to be a baking show, but good cookie. Sorry about that. It was a delightful surprise though. Okay, so I am coming to the end of this, and now I'm going to go off the rails and crochet the underarm one straight from here. Whew, this feels dicey. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and chain one and do my double crochet into that next square. Really does feel dicey because I'm not sure exactly how it's gonna lay. Whew, okay. I need to think through this a little more. Oh, I guess it'll just lay like this. Okay, so if I'm looking at this like this, and I just go straight across here on the top row of this next one, and it goes under my armpits, I think that's okay. I'm almost sure that this is breaking all the rules, but I'm just gonna try it anyway, because what have I got to lose? All right, here we go. Getting crazy over here. And I think it was only one. This doesn't seem like a very big armpit, if we're being honest. Maybe not big enough for me. Anyway, some of us have older lady arms. No rules in crochet. I like your style, Lana. Some of us have older lady arms, which need a little more of an armpit hole than this might be giving me, but I will try it and see what happens. And if I need to make another one with 2 squares on the sides, then so be it. All right, here we go. Almost done with this one. Okay, now let me see if I can make sense of my model here. Okay, so I did that, and then I went up and over. That seems a little sketch. Did I go all the way here? And then, whoo-wee. I may have stumped myself on this. Maybe I should actually go all the way across here, and then I'm basically dropping down a row. Does that work better? Maybe. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it. Okay, so frog this dicey one. Luckily, I wasn't far on it. And instead, we're going to go across this whole bottom, and then we'll start adding the row below that same one, but we'll just do that whole row at the same time. That seems like it would work. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay, so I have 1 stitch, and then corners we need 2. So there we go, the second stitch, and we're off to the races. I always love on the continuous join the long stretches. That makes me feel like I'm making so much progress because I'm finishing up the 4th side on so many rows all at once. It's just awesome. Awesome. Okay, as I keep seeing this in front of me, this lovely little tin, maybe this is the year I need to order this pattern and actually just do it. It's just so pretty. The other pattern that I've been really wanting that I've been really wanting to do is, and if any of you have done it, I would love to hear how it turned out, is those circular flower bouquet ones. Just do it. I should. There's a whole kit. So part of me wants to order the kit and just get the yarn that she recommends, because then it will turn out just like this and it will be absolutely gorgeous. But part of me is like, girl, the thing you need more yarn like you need a hole in the head. That is what I always, when I look in my yarn closet, I have okay, true confession time. I'm a single lady, so I have a master bedroom with 2 walk-in closets. One of them I use for my clothes, shoes, bags, whatever. The other one is overflowing with yarn. I have an entire walk-in closet overflowing with yarn. You cannot walk into it. It has that much yarn. That's a true confession. And part of it was Joanne's fault. Bless your heart, Joanne. Just order the kit, then it won't mess up. You are an enabler, and I like your style. Okay, so I blame Joanne's for the craziness. A kit is different. It is. That's kind of what I tell myself. A kit is different. It's not quite the same. But I have a lot of kits in my closet too, and it's from the UK, and those UK kits, they get me over and over. I don't know why. Maybe I'm not marketed to by American kits as much. Happy Sunday. Saw you were live and thought I'd pop by to say hi. Hi, thank you for joining us, Tami. It's good to see you. We are just doing our granny crochet here. So if anyone else just popped by, I am doing or attempting to do a continuous join of this lovely red heart all-in-one granny. So the picture of this vest is what I'm trying to do, but I don't want to have to sew it. So I have charted it out on my handy whiteboard here, and I'm trying to follow along and actually do a continuous join as much as possible for this vest. And so far we are right here. And I'm feeling pretty good about it. I'm feeling like I may not get all the way continuous join, but I have definitely minimized the sewing already. And that's a good start. So, you know, take my wins where I can. Okay, so UK kits. Does anyone see US kits in their feeds? Because the algorithm for UK kits, it finds me. Those British designers, I feel like the British really get yarn crafts. And you know, maybe it's because they have so many sheep. I don't know. But I don't seem to get as many advertisements for the US kits. In fact, I don't think I get any. Have I purchased any US kits? I feel like a traitor to say that, but I don't think I have. And you pay a pretty penny for the shipping on those UK kits, but they are well written. They have such lovely yarn. I don't know if anyone else has tried the Stylecraft yarn from the UK. It's kind of like it has a similar feel to a DK weight of Premier yarn. Like, it's really nice and soft in that same way. It's just a really lovely acrylic, and it has a lot of colorways. So I've been a really big fan of the Stylecraft, and that is, I believe, what this kit is. And she has it in 2 colorways. It's this colorway and then a red colorway. But I'm a denim kid. I really love that denim one, which is why I bought that specific little tin. So I might do it. Lana has convinced me that this could be a good thing to do. I would say it's a business expense, except at this point, my YouTube channel is just a hobby. So not quite something I can expense for the business, as much as I would love to. Right now, we're not there yet. Okay, so I'm almost to the end of this row, and then I will be actually adding in the next row. I feel a little nervous with this because it is a little different. I just sat down with my yarn and saw you were live. Yay, I'm so glad. You have a year, LOL. For those of you who are new in the chat, we have an enabler here, and those are the best kind of friends to have. The ones who cheer you on to go and get a crazy amount of yarn. Hello, Donna, good to see you. Yeah, Lana is being my yarn bestie enabler and suggesting that I go and get another yarn kit, even though I just did a true confession of the sheer volume of yarn I have in my house already. Okay, so I'm going to join this, and it feels weird to add on when I am joining. So I'm going to show everyone where I'm at so you can see. So here we are. This is the top of the vest. I am starting to suspect that this armpit hole may be a little small for my old lady arms, and of course I did not measure that. I just decided to go for it. I'm going to invest in kits this year too for my YouTube business. Awesome, smart. I'm going to do my absolute best to not buy yarn in February. I haven't purchased any yarn in January. Is that true? I believe that's true. And I feel like that was a total win. But I did get quite a bit of yarn related stuff for Christmas, so I've kind of been just working through it, which has been super fun. I got a yarn swift and a ball winder, and I feel like my girls just spoiled me this year. So, okay, here we are. We are ready for the next row, and I'm gonna consult my chart, and I think my chart is telling me to go ahead and should I go this way or that? I guess it doesn't matter which way I go. I'm just gonna go. Doesn't really matter. Okay, next square. Back to my hook. So for those of you who just joined us, we are doing a continuous join granny vest. And the continuous join is the dicey part here because there is no pattern for this. I'm just made up a chart and I'm going for it. This is the colorway I have chosen. Isn't that really lovely? It is black silver sea. So it's red heart all in one. You can find these all over. I got this specific one at one of the Joann's yarn sales, which is part of the reason my closet is overflowing, is because I kept going back and every time purchasing huge bags of yarn because they were just, I mean, fire sale prices, literally. And then I'm doing the continuous join with this big twist. And the colorway here is denim blue. It's a really, really lovely kind of heathery blue. It is not an exact match on either of the blues in here. You can see this one's a little darker and this one's a little lighter, but I feel like it goes really well. Like it's in the same tone family as the others. Okay, so here we are. Let's go ahead and do one stitch and then just gonna see how it goes. So never actually joined a continuous join that was a closed loop and then started to add one on. So this feels, you know, kind of different, kind of new, kind of fun. Fun to do it with a whole bunch of people watching. Thank you for being here. So glad you could make it to see this experiment. All right. So I joined it with a double crochet and here's my triple cluster. Do I want to turn it? I think I do want to turn it and go all the, so I think I want to turn it to start this row and go all the way back down. I think that's what I want to do. We're gonna just do it. See where we go. Because this is fun. It's always fun to try new things. And what's the worst that can happen? I might have to frog it and keep thinking. I bought cotton yarn for Duck Duck dishcloth, LOL. I saw that and I really liked that pattern, Duck Duck dishcloth with the cute, I saw the picture with the cute little duck on top of the dishcloth. I didn't realize that was yours. I should have. Or is that somebody else's and you're just doing it with them? Either way, it was a cute idea and I really liked it. Okay, here we go. Back down, and I feel like maybe I'm on solid ground again with this because I know how to do a continuous join. That doesn't feel weird. I don't have to follow a chart. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so Sunday Scaries coming up in the next couple hours for this lady. I'm in Central Time. I'm in Kansas City on the Kansas side, where we apparently pay way too much for stadiums, but we will have the Chiefs here, so I guess that's a win. I don't know. I don't know about that one. I mean, I appreciate Travis Kelce. That was someone else, probably Mrs. Yarn Universe and more. Oh, nice. So we're going to have the Chiefs come nearby. Well, and by nearby, I mean in the same state and general city area. For any of you in Midwest cities, we are not geographically confined like mountain areas or coastal places where you have a natural geographic boundary like an ocean or a mountain that keeps your city a little smaller. We are not like that. We just keep going. And pretty soon it becomes like the city and then the suburbs, and then those suburbs become their own little cities. And anyway, that's where I'm at. I'm in those suburbs that are their own little cities that are quite far from actual Kansas City. But it's the Kansas City area, and I really love the area we are in. I do not want to pay for a big stadium. Allegedly, it's not any more taxes, but we shall see. We have heard that before from politicians everywhere. Okay, here I am joining to this corner, and that seems like a good idea. And then I'm going to go down and then join another one. This might just work, folks. This might just work. All right. And I will hold it up in just a minute to show you my progress, because this is it's getting hot in here. Oh, is anyone else a Jane Austen fan? I know that was a weird non sequitur to Jane Austen, but if you've ever seen Austen Land, that is what that's from. And I loved Jane Austen. Well, I loved Jane Austen and I loved Austen Land, both the book and the movie. Yes, Jane Austen fan. So, yeah, that scene was hilarious when they told her she had to play the piano and she busted out with "It's getting hot in here" while she's plunking it out on the piano in her formal Regency era gowns. That was so funny. I still laugh about that whenever, well, I don't hear that song very often. What am I saying? When I hear that song, I don't hear that song very often. Just in my head, apparently. Okay. We're almost to the edge of this square. I'm so excited to see if this actually works. If I have cracked this code, I will write it out and share it with all of you. Although I have not figured it out for other sizes. So, and I haven't even figured out what size this is. All right. So I'm going to hold it up and show you what we have so far. So what we have is this will be the top, and then right now I'm right here, and so I'm going to keep going along this and then along here and then into the armpit one and all the way around. Did we figure this out? Because now this is the easy part. The only part of this that was going to be really challenging was switching from all of this top part to going to the bottom. Folks, I don't want to, I need to knock on wood because I feel like I'm getting a little too excited about this here. All right, next square. All right, Rosie is sitting right next to me. If you can see this little pink lump, I'm going to show her a little bit. Well, I thought I was going to show her. Yep, there she is. Hello, Rosie. Rosie, she's a character. I'm sorry. I should not have messed with my own system. She is the best little crochet dog because she always wants to just cuddle with me on the couch. And what's not to love about that, right? Like, it's just precious. She's always like, oh, you're sitting. And whenever I make anything, she wants to be the first person to sit on it or to cuddle up in it. Like, she is just the best. All right, here we go. So now I turn this one back and keep going. Do, do, do. All right, I think this is going so, if I've cracked this code, boy howdy, I might have to eat a cookie to celebrate. These cookies really did turn out quite good. I think the reason she was a little disappointed with it is they're a little thicker than normal. Like, but look at that chocolate chippiness. It turned out really good. But I think the reason she's a little disappointed is she expected them to be a little more flat, you know, like, but they're delicious. What's not to love about that? I'm a big fan. I do want to eat it with milk because I'm a cookies and milk person. A coworker of mine told me to try cookies and green tea. When I said I was a big cookies and milk person, we were somewhere where somebody offered us a cookie and I said, no, thank you. And he said, do you not like cookies? And I said, of course I like cookies, but I don't have any milk. And I really feel like cookies without milk is just not as nice. And he was like, well, have you tried them with green tea? And I have not. I mean, I had not at that point, and I have since then. And I guess if you're going for more of a, like, I don't know, I don't find milk to be unhealthy, but maybe a lower calorie approach, then green tea would be a good substitute. Or if you don't want like if you're allergic to milk or you don't want that kind of creaminess, which I'm not sure why you wouldn't want that, but if that is not what you want, then green tea is an acceptable substitute. But crikey, I mean, cookies and milk is a classic for a reason. All right, here we go. Added in one more. I did this corner with a single crochet instead of a slip stitch because I don't want it to pucker, and I feel like adding in a little bit of extra yarn there gives it a little bit better of, like, it just lays a little flatter. So on that fourth corner, I will often do a single crochet instead of a slip stitch, just so it doesn't get too tight and puckery with continuous joins. But it's sort of a call of the day where it depends on how tight I'm crocheting or how tight the yarn is feeling, you know, all of those things that make a difference. So yeah, I'm just calling it for a single crochet instead of a slip stitch on that. And I am excited that this is almost 2 across. So the tricky part in my mind will be that armpit hole, and I'm going the opposite direction of that. So I still have 2 more squares to get there, but hopefully it just works out beautifully. We shall see. One can never tell until one does it. All right, I have been on for quite a minute here, and thank you for those of you who joined at the beginning or who have joined for any part to chat. I love doing crochet alongs and chatting back and forth about things. That's my favorite part of having a YouTube channel so far, is just building some crochet community and making crochet friends. Lana, today, that has been so fun with you trying to encourage my crochet spending, which I appreciate and I will probably do. I sort of, I mean, we're planning a big travel year this year, and this sort of seems like the perfect travel thing, right? Like then by the end of it, you have a blanket that's nice and cozy. Could work, could work. Sorry. I could feel my throat getting a bit of a tickle. Okay. I'm going to show you where I am, and I think I'm going to stop. Yes, it'll be fun. It sure will. Okay, this is working. So I'm going to keep going. I'm going to turn off my live because I feel like I probably need to drink some milk to go with my cookie. All right, but I will continue this on another live, and thank you all for being here. Talk to you later. Bye.